All right, Kelly, I have two questions for you. First of all, what do you think will be the reaction from the victims that you've mentioned several times here in this conversation? We're getting a report, by the way, that the vibe outside the courtroom is as follows, and I quote from our reporters outside the courtroom. Everyone is surprisingly calm right now. Some say they're happy with the decision. What do you think will be the reaction from Cassie and some of the other victims?
As someone who represents victims such as human trafficking, sex trafficking cases, the question that they'll be asking, is this justice for them? And do they feel safe? Do they worry about retribution? Do they worry that once Diddy gets out of jail, that he is going to punish them, that Diddy is going to find them and harm them? That is what they're going through right now. Now, we have to remember these victims, when they go through an experience, they are traumatized. And then when they testify again, they're traumatized again. And then hearing this, is this in fact justice for the victims that have been harmed in this matter? For the victims, they would probably say no.
All right, Kelly, I'm going to return to my second question I have for you in just one moment, but I want to run this by Greg and Rebecca. I just got this note from a criminal defense attorney friend in New York City who said that Combs may be also eligible for the residential drug program in the Bureau of Prisons, in which case that could knock 18 months off of his prison term. So when I listen to Kelly talk about victims fearing for retribution, and Greg, you giving us the calculus, he'll get credit for the year he's already been in jail, taking him down to 3 years. Is this correct? He could also see another 18 months potentially knocked off through the residential drug program, then putting him back on the streets essentially in a year and a half?
Yeah, I don't know that it actually knocks off time, but he may be eligible for the program given his past history of admitted drug use. So, you know, it's better than being in strict federal lockup. You know, the security surrounding it is more lenient. I'm not sure you actually get time knocked off because you are in the program and successfully completed.
Rebecca, did you have a reaction to that? What do you think is the earliest he could see freedom? He could be back on the street.
Yeah, I agree with Greg. Being put in that program doesn't necessarily mean that he serves less time. He has to serve time in that program concurrently then with his prison sentence. So what we're looking at, I think, is the 4 years and 2 months. And I agree that the victims will feel this isn't enough, but I do think the victims will say, well, at least he will serve a substantial amount of time. It's not the 14 months or Mark Agnifilo asked, could he please be released in 2 months? Because can we adjust for time served, which would be 2 months? And I mean, for the victims to see that, to see a defense attorney asking for him to just serve basically 2 more months was very, very offensive. And I'm happy that the judge really looked at this case from both sides and said, we have to be fair to the victims as well.
All right, one last question for you, Kelly. I promised I had a second. I want to return to that now. There are all kinds of accountability and all kinds of punishment. Prison is just one. It is the most severe, and it's our best form of accountability. There is also damage to reputation, damage to business. Diddy, I don't know if he was a billionaire, but was probably somewhere close in the range of being a billionaire. This entire thing, what has it done to Diddy's business capabilities?
Well, the court of public opinion, that has definitely shaped how people perceive him. When we go back to the 2016 video of Diddy coming out in a towel and hitting Miss Ventura and how that affected him and how it affected the public view of him. So, yes, is he going to be a comeback kid? Is he going to come out of this okay? We're going to have to wait and see what the public ultimately decides.
Well, I would think there might also be some civil suits to follow this criminal conviction. Okay, I want to turn now